Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy New Testament Tuesday. I'm Pastor Adam, and I'm so glad you decided to tune in, check out, and see what we've got going on today. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope things are going good for you, and you're ready to dive into the Word today. But I got a question for you right off the bat. Have you ever done something or had somebody show you something that you thought was complicated, you thought it was hard, you weren't going to be able to get it, and then they showed you it, and you're like, whoa, that's pretty easy. And, a lot of the times I wish that more things were like that, surprisingly easy. And sometimes, when things are surprisingly easy, we go, wait a minute, is that really, is that right? More often than not, it seems to me that things are often easier than we make them out to be. So check this out in Matthew chapter 18, starting in verse 1. At the time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me." What does this have to do with being a follower of Christ? What does it mean to be a Christian? Different things like that. Oftentimes, we can make it a lot more complicated than it would seem. A lot of times we look at what does it mean to be a Christian? What does it mean to be a Christ follower? What does it mean to go to church? What does it mean to do all these different things? And oftentimes we make it harder than what it appears to be. Now, in Jesus's disciples here, they're arguing amongst themselves, no, I'm the greatest, no, I'm the greatest. And Jesus flips them on their head. Jesus goes, it's not about how smart you are, it's not about how much you've thrown into this or have done that or done this, but instead it's a lowly position of a child. A child that only does what their mother or father tell them to do, hopefully, if your child is well behaved. But a lot of times we make it so much more complicated than it needs to be. We can dive into the great depths of theology, and don't get me wrong, theology is very important. We can oftentimes get really into some of the intricacies of the Bible, and yet we want to say, well, I'm smarter than you, so I'm better than you, or I do this better than you, and this is my gift of this, and we overcomplicate things. And yet Jesus goes, simply what it is to take up the position of a child, one that submits to God the Father, one that does what their Father says to do. And so, if you think being a Christian is a daunting task sometimes it is. But maybe take a step back and realize what Jesus has asked of us. What does Jesus say about being the greatest in the kingdom? Oftentimes, are you just overcomplicating this whole Christianity thing? Are you more worried about your accolades in the kingdom of God rather than serving in the kingdom? These are some things to think about. I'm Pastor Adam. This has been New Testament Tuesday. I'll see you next time.